But 60,000, how the kidnapped KGB spy baby boy named Azaslim caught was English blacks stealing used condoms for Kashmiri hostages, and a ransom sniff again equals 61,210 plus 91 equals 61,310. 301. FABEOCIJDLRSMUVBHK QGPZTN. It's an anagram for condom, drug, dress. Patan means pattern, which is a pattern face, like symmetric, equal shaped nose, nostrils, eyes, lips, mustache, instead of deformed kind of turtle looking Africans or Chinese. So that's film, pattern, kept, drugs, fish, my Charlie, which means fish, condom, KGB, Spatnaz. So that's that. And condom, dress, film, pattern, kept. Pattern could be anyone. They say it's Afghans, but it could be anyone with a pattern face. A pattern face is a face with a pattern, in opposed to African faces or Chinese faces that don't have a nice pattern. A nice pattern is what they target. So normally what happens is the MQM and the Indians, they use prostitutes for Afghan sperm, Afghan condoms, and they produce hostages. But the English blacks, they steal condoms from around the world. They hire prostitutes, high-end prostitutes. Africans hire them for people they like or people they dislike. Then they steal the sperm, the condoms, and then they use them to use Indians as surrogate mothers because they've all got long hair, straight faces, but black skin, and they get white children, green-eyed, blue-eyed, all sorts, and they're all held in Kashmir. And then they make videos of these hostages, born hostages, with the surrogate mothers and the foster fathers. And next minute you know, the police can't touch the drug smugglers because they've got hostages. And I got kidnapped, and the first place they took me was Kashmir. And my uncles, although I was a kidnapped child, my uncles and my aunties all treated me badly because I was a kidnapped child. But then I saw black women with black husbands having green-eyed white babies with blonde hair. And I thought, how did they have them babies? And so that's what I realised what was going on in Kashmir. Kashmir is it's just a jungle and mountains with Thailand and the Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama is an anagram for Dal, which means put. Lama is an anagram for Mala, which means the Dalai Lama put drugs. And the Buddhists, how do they keep reproducing if they don't have sex? So there's something dodgy going on there. And Thailand and India are smuggling drugs and raising hostages. And they're really cruel, and they chop the fingers off a baby's feet and they put them onto their hands. I had a friend called John. They did the same to him here in England. And I was surprised how they did that, but it actually worked. They cut his thumb off. They cut his finger off a foot, and they stuck it to where his thumb was, and it worked. And that's how cruel the NHS is, and how the English blacks are, and how the Thailand is, and they're for and against circumcision, but they think everything's a story because they got disowned and they got told that nobody wants to breed with them because of the drug smuggling ways. And they have 100 gods with 100 different idols, with 100 different statues that have drugs in them. And you can't break the statue because it's a god. And all they do is smuggle drugs, and they harass normal people so they get themselves pretty wives. And they can hold hostages so they can get rich. And that's how Thailand and India make their money, and that's how the English blacks get their endless supply of drugs and cash through gambling and ransom money. And sometimes they put the ransom money in the kidnapped child's house. They put the child in the mental hospital. They steal the money. That's why they want cash, because if it was electronic money, then the police could take the money away from the drug dealers or from the kidnappers. So they want cash, and anyone that's advocating cash instead of electronic money is part of this kidnapping ring. Because if you've got nothing to hide and we're all born poor, then we all need money to live off, and electronic money is the best kind of money because the state can provide it and everyone can get fed and clothed. But the blacks, they need drugs because they don't want to be on camera because they're committing crimes. The pirates, the criminals, and they use surrogate mothers with Thailand to produce hog-nosed babies, and they claim compensation for having a baby that's got a hog nose, but they shouldn't be doing these crimes in the first place, and they shouldn't be having these babies with these hog noses because it's not allowed. And we need Interpol because the British police can't control this, and they seem to be corrupt or scared, and they're outnumbered by these blacks and the corrupt students that want the drugs, and they want to be liberal, and they don't know the kind of the terror that these Africans and Indians and Thailand cause in Kashmir to normal people that have been born from stolen condoms. And that's what Kashmir is. It's cash for the rim. The rim is the arsehole. And Islam's a joke. Islam's nothing but organised criminal activity. And the Kahf, there's a verse in the Quran that says Surah Kahf. Surah Kahf is the property of two drug families. That the story goes in the Surah Kahf is there's a prophet who found a wall, and the wall had the treasures of two brothers, and the two brothers are Africans and Jamaicans, and the wall is full of drugs and cash, and that's ransom money and ransom sniff. And not all Muslims know this, but a lot of Muslims do know this, and that's why Islam's a joke. And I went to the Holy Pilgrimage, and the Arabs pushed me from behind. The black women stole me from the front, and then they claimed you're sexually harassing the blacks when I was stuck in between them both, and they did it on purpose so they can claim another trick of how to harass the KGB spy. So they've come up with a lot of tricks. They split their own school. They made me a witness. They tried to frame me for that. They've tried, they milked me electronically through technology, and like a phone can receive a signal, a brain can receive a signal. The brain has electrolytes, and it can receive signals and things like that, and technology is out there. But if it's used for the right reason, it's good. If it's used for the wrong reason, that's because they hold hostages, and they make demands on the TV to tell the TV what to say, to tell me what to say, to control my brain. And Thailand and the English language, and Thailand and Africa have hexed the Urdu language. Urdu equals fade, 46, URDU, Yordu, fade. What they call a balloon in Urdu is a gubara. Gubara means come out shit. So come out shit out of a condom, which means the baby that comes out of the condom is shit. It's in Kashmir, it's held hostage from birth, and if they don't get the demands, if they don't get the money and the sniff and the cash, then they cannibalize off the babies. And that's how evil Thailand is, and that's how evil Africa is, and that's how evil English Empire is. And after Islamic Empire, the English Empire came, and the Africans jumped onto that bandwagon, and the English get nothing but harassed around the world, and a few of them get a good living standard, but not all of them. And the houses are cold, broken, and full of damp and drugs and money and laundering, and prostitution and stealing condoms, and they want cash because cash is untraceable, and they want sniff because it's untraceable, and that's what the English African drugs are, and that's what the Arabs are about, and that's why the Arabs are here. The Arabs are here helping the African English. Kaaba means eat sheep woman. Makkah means eat black Indian woman. So Makkah, my dinner means my dinner. And the Kabul means eat. Thailand, bull-shaped Thailand people eat, stop kidnapping children and stop smuggling drugs. And the Afghans are innocent in this, but they went to war against Russia, and they stole condoms and they stole Russian sperm. And then the Indians stole their sperm, and next thing you know, there's hostages being born all over the place. Not only Russian soldiers, but German soldiers had the same treatment, and so do Italians, so do Europeans. When a woman or when a good-looking man dislikes Africans, or the Africans like the look of a good-looking man in Europe, then they use a high-class prostitute. She steals the sperm. Next thing you know, she gets rich, but the hostages are born in Kashmir. So we need Interpol to resolve these issues, and we need electronic money because everyone can get paid a decent amount, so they can have a living standard. Everyone can get equal pay, and everyone can feed and clothe their house and house their children and school their children. But we can't live with these Africans smuggling drugs, stealing condoms, producing sperm, producing hostages, and the drugs that are non-stop, never-ending on the streets. We need to stop all of this, and we need Interpol, and we need the United Nations, and we need Russia and America to get along together to clean this mess up, because one victim's too much, and I'm a kidnapped child, and I'm screaming that these things are happening, and I'm being put in mental hospitals, although the technology is out there and the evidence is out there, and these codes are revealing everything, because these codes were written between India, China and Africa, and the descendants of India, China and Africa, while they were committing these crimes, writing these letters in codes to each other's. Now I've lived this life and I've experienced these things, so I've written them down and I've seen what the codes reveal. And anyone can reveal these codes. All you got to do is reveal them. All you got to do is write them and get a nerd to understand how the code is written and stop this madness, because your English drugs are causing a lot of trouble in the world. And if you can get the Africans to go back to Africa, then you can have whatever drugs you want, as long as you legalize them and as long as you can maintain them and as long as you can medically treat them if you get addicted, and as long as the women aren't being abused, as long as the men are being careful and being responsible with each other and they're taking care of the children and things like that. So we need to get rid of the Africans first and foremost. They're the main obstacle, they're the main trouble causes. And anyone that says I'm racist needs to read these codes and needs to know why blacks sell drugs and don't get high on their own supply, and why they're staying off camera and why they're always gambling when they've got no money to gamble. They've always got gambling money. CGI technology's out there, it's all fixed. England's going to win the World Cup. Now that I've said it, they might not win the World Cup, but the Africans know who's going to win the World Cup because they've got the gambling money, they've got the hostages, they want the excuse to take the money out of the bookies, and anyone else that's gambling is taking money off hostages from Kashmir. So we need to resolve the Kashmiri issue. We need Thailand and India out of Kashmir. We need to give it to Pakistan, and we need Indians out of Pakistan, and we need the Sikhs out of Pakistan because they're involved in all. Sikhs smuggle drugs with the turbans laced with cocaine and heroin and things like that. And again, it's like an idol. It's a religious thing. They can't touch the turban because it's supposed to be a religious thing, same as the idols with Makkah and Kaaba and Islam. I know Islamic people who had Islamic writings laced with heroin and cocaine, and they went through the airports because no one touched them because it was Islamic writing, and it was a religious thing. So we need Interpol, and we need to stop this organised crime, and we need to wake up, and we need to get the United Nations involved, and we need to resolve the Kashmir issue, and we need to resolve the bribes and the corruption from the English blacks in the NHS, and in the police, and in the military, and we need Interpol.